This is not about me.
Can you?
You didn't come on this show to attack me.
Yourself.
You came on the show to talk about the issue.
Because again,
do you have a point about the issue?
Using your position of authority.
I'm sick of you, Bongino. I'm sick of you.
That
are
absolutely outrageous.
Call him a bitch, dude. He's a punk bitch. Blockhead motherfucker, Roblox looking ass, Minecraft looking ass, leak your fucking steroid regime looking ass bitch. Calling him a punk is not.
Geraldo,
You're
let him
an
talk.
Uncontrolled lunatic.
Geraldo,
I'm sorry,
let him talk.
because you can't go on the air.
I'm an out of control
Can you
lunatic.
calm down? Yeah, you really need to calm down.
Fucking. Listen, it's hard not to lose frame against literally fucking Minecraft Andy over here. It's just, oh, Jesus Christ.
It is shocking and outrageous to me.
Palestinian children. You know the way we...
If your point's going to be about me, I'm not.
Yeah, you really
I'm
need to calm down.
I'm a 10-time Emmy winner.
Maybe try a meditation.
Dude, this is a trigger warning, by the way. Ted Cruz's ugly ass face might show up. It's in the bottom here, but I don't know if they show Ted Cruz in this segment. So I'm just issuing a trigger warning ahead of time.
Experience in the Middle East.
Right,
have you ever even been there?
All right, I want to make my point, Sean.
I've covered every war since 1973.
I want to make my point when he stops talking.
Geraldo,
when he stops talking, I do have a point.
If your point is about me, I'm not going to stop. If your point's going to be about me, I'm not going to stop.
Geraldo Rivera does not understand that Hamas doesn't believe in Israel's right to exist. Hamas wants the Jews dead. And what does he do? The same thing with the police.
Oh my God, this is insanity. Like, this is just like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Hamas doesn't believe in Israel's right to exist. Oh, that's interesting. Does fucking Israel believe in Palestinians' right to exist? Because it sure doesn't fucking seem like it. And Hamas is baby shit in comparison to a nuclear power that is using white phosphorus on civilians and purposely destroying the infrastructure, leaving the Palestinians no way to actually rebuild, okay? You are a fucking blockheaded baby. If you make this goddamn comparison between a militant arm of what remains as the administrative forces in the world's largest open-air prison, okay? If you make that comparison to a nuclear power,
I love American news hassle,
that has the world's largest military's backing through and through, you are literally a fucking psychopath. I know a ceasefire is coming. I know.
Issue. He makes this an emotional thing, and he says the Palestinian children. Of course we care about Palestinian children. You know the way we save Palestinian children is we incentivize the terror group Hamas to not fire rockets indiscriminately into Israel. And
what about fucking discriminately firing rockets into Gaza?
But hey,
on purpose.
6 months.
Oh God, I'm done talking about this. We just have the same conversations over and over again every single fucking day.
Would stop and
like saying Hamas fires rockets indiscriminately into Israel, which is why we like literally and purposely and deliberately are defending rockets being fired on significant points of infrastructure that like are necessary for everyday existence of Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, is not exactly the argument that you think is going to save you, okay? It's fucking terrible. Like, that's a terrible argument.
Immediately, your debate on, you are so misinformed on.
If you want to stop Hamas, then fucking stop bombing innocent Palestinians and murdering innocent Palestinians, and then telling everybody that they're just meat shields, because that's pretty good for Hamas, dude. It legitimizes them. It legitimizes their existence. It legitimizes their cause. Okay, in the eyes of the Palestinian people, it literally turns it into a justifiable standing military that is violently trying to suppress an occupying force. Why the fuck would the Palestinians not side with Hamas in that respect if they're constantly being fucking shelled nonstop? What a great take. Expecting a terrorist to stop attacking you because you are indiscriminately killing civilians? Yeah, let's appeal to the humanity of the one you yourself consider a terrorist. I mean, I consider the IDF to be a terrorist. I consider the IDF to be a terror group, a very successful terror group. And yet I still believe that like they have the capability of fucking doing a ceasefire. So yeah, like if you think Hamas is a terror group because they're firing and trying to kill random civilians, which they literally are. There's no two ways about it. We can have a conversation about whether that's justifiable self-defense, an armed act of self-defense from a group of oppressed people that are being occupied. If you want to make a comparison, it's like a fucking, it's like in the pre-abolition era, in the pre-Civil War era, it's like African slaves trying to free themselves by murdering their fucking slave owners. Then yeah, you can make that argument if you want. We can have a conversation about the justifications for it. But ultimately, if you think that like Hamas is a terror cell, and I agree, because they are indiscriminately trying to kill as many Israelis as they can, even though they are too weak to do so because they don't have any fucking rockets. All their rockets are made in goddamn bathtubs. Then the IDF are very good at doing terrorism. Okay? They're like, the IDF is significantly better at terrorism. I mean, think about it. Like, we think about Al-Qaeda, right? We look to Al-Qaeda and the egregious, horrific act of terror that they committed on 9/11, right? Hitting the World Trade Center, Pentagon building, all this stuff. I mean, that's like literally a Sunday in the Gaza Strip. Okay? It's a Sunday in the Gaza Strip with F-16s like bombing the living fuck out of every important infrastructure building that these people have. Like, all the time. Literally nonstop. Nah, man, blame Iran for 9/11? I don't know where to begin with this conversation because like Iran's enemies in the region did 9/11. So like if you're saying, nah, man, blame Iran for 9/11, you're so delusional that there's no way to have a conversation with you. Iran was confused when they were even mentioned in the axis of evil, and Iran has literally been an ally to the United States in the United States' ongoing efforts to cleanse the region of, I guess, Sunni militant groups, Sunni terror cells like ISIS. Pretty sure he's joking. I don't know. That was his first thing that fucking idiot said. So
this, it's pathetic. It's a bloodthirsty, savage.
Let me calm the waters here. Let me calm the waters here. Geraldo, who started this war? Who started firing the rockets? And who's firing them?
Where do you want to go? You want to go back to 1948, 1967, 1973?
You want to go back to the 48 peace partition, the 67, 73 war? And yes, I've been to Israel. I've been to, you know what? I've been to the border with Gaza.
I've covered every war since 1973 until 2012.
Kids
I was there when they put the Iron Dome missile system
in an outdoor playground because they.
Yeah, well, except like, again, valuable. Everything you say about the plight of Israeli children, which is true, okay? War has casualties. War does create PTSD within kids. I understand that. Absolutely. But like, if you have feelings, if you feel some type of way towards the struggles that like Israeli citizens are being subjected to, then you should be losing your fucking mind every day at the thought of how much cruelty Palestinian kids are subjected to. Like, I don't know how you can't see this. I really don't know how you can't. I don't understand how it's like impossible for you to know to recognize this, unless you just don't believe that Palestinians are human beings, which these guys don't.
They can't get in a bunker. They play in indoor bunker playgrounds. I've seen the rockets, 10,000 in one city in 10 years.
A Palestinian life is exactly equal to an Israeli life or an American life.
Who do you blame for fighting?
That's anti-Semitic. Like what Geraldo Rivera is saying would get most motherfuckers canceled like 5 to 10 years ago. I swear to God, dude. It's crazy that he's just like straight up saying it. That like a Palestinian life is equal to an Israeli life. That's wild. That is actually a fucking wild take to have. on Fox fucking News of all places. Straight up. Especially because it's an indefensible position. Like, the counter to that is indefensible. What are you going to say? No, it's not? That's going to make you look really bad if you say, no, that's not true. Actually, an Israeli life is worth more.
Firing the rockets first. Who do you blame for firing it from densely populated areas?
Which is precisely why Sean Hannity just conveniently ignored that point. Notice how Sean Hannity did not address that at all and completely moved on and is like still like, who fired first? Who fired first? Who fired first? Who fired first? Who fired the rockets first? I don't know. Who fucking attacked Al-Aqsa first? Doesn't seem like it was Palestinians attacking their own mosque. It was the IDF.
It's been a wild ride, brother. Has Chud. Thanks for the good time.
And hospitals and schools.
This current chapter of this ongoing violence started when Israeli cops raided the Aqsa Mosque in the old city of Jerusalem.
Get out of here!
It is one of the most sacred.
Just lying.
It is one of the most sacred.
You're just lying? How is that a lie, dude? Why is this news, man? Yo, I don't know how to deal with this. Like, you're just like he's just lying and saying you're lying when Geraldo is completely correct.
You don't know what you're talking about.
It is one of the most sacred places in the Listen to this guy. This guy doesn't. Have you ever been? Have you been at war?
I've been there many times.
Have you?
I'm showing video of me there.
No, but you haven't either. That's the interesting thing.
I have been there multiple times. That tunnel.
Why is this a conversation? Like, what the fuck do these tunnels have to do with anything, bro?
Right there. That was built with Israeli and American money and cement, and that cement was meant for hospitals and schools, guys. That cement right there. 60 feet underground tunnels so that these terrorists can sneak in the dark of the night and kill Israelis and commit acts of terror.
Why don't you ever show the dead Palestinian children? Why don't you ever show the video of the dead Palestinian children?
Because if I ever step foot in Gaza, I'd be dead.
They don't count.
Yeah. The Israelis would mistake your Fred Flintstone ass for a Gazan terrorist or some shit and then blow you up. Yes. If you ever step foot inside of Gaza, you would literally be dead. Why? Because motherfuckers get murdered all the time in Gaza by Israeli forces. So yes, you are right. Sean Hannity is, in a brief moment here, correct. A brief moment of truth, a grain of honesty in Sean Hannity's takes. If I step foot in Gaza, I'd be dead. It's very difficult to survive there. Perhaps that has something to do with tunnels that they're building, because there's constantly fucking rocket fire. Again, let me just say something. Okay? If your house is on fire, you're not going to have a lot of time to be like, maybe I should buy a new dishwasher. Okay? That's the situation in Gaza. If you're constantly under occupation, if you're constantly being fucking shelled, if you're constantly subjected to bombing campaigns, whenever you want to demonstrate peacefully at the fucking border or at the fence that separates you from Israel, you literally get sniped. When that shit happens, yeah, you're probably not going to fucking focus on building a school just so they can blow it up again.
It's like they don't exist.
You don't even understand the history.
Palestinian children are being killed and they don't exist. Demand a ceasefire.
You don't even understand your own history. Geraldo, who controlled that Palestinian area from 48 to 67?
Ceasefire.
The
no
Jordanians.
American weapons used to kill children. Stop it.
So they can kill more Jews?
I demand a ceasefire.
Oh my God, dude.
All right. No.
Like, Dan Bongino, straight up, like, we can't do a ceasefire. They're going to kill more Jews during this.
Right, so they can rearm and kill more Jews.
Like, with what, dude? What a psycho. What a fucking psycho, dude. Here, let's just run this back, dude, just to give us a little break from everything. Okay, so...
Poggies.
We showed the psychos. There's a ceasefire that is ongoing. That's really good. Good news. I mean, we're not even close to fucking actual justice for the Palestinians. Like, nowhere near. But it's a good first step, I guess, to just like stop the fucking bombing campaign that has already killed more than 65 Palestinian children, more than 230 Palestinians in general, over the course of the past 11 days. So
this is what Republican Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin.
Okay, so we are going to cover. There's more coverage to be had on this issue. Obviously, I am going to do it, but before I continue with my coverage, I am going to hit you with a. For her Malding episode 3 is out. It's called Hetero Gay Married, by the way.
9 months. Thank you for all you do to inform us, Hassel.
But I'm going to hit you with a 60-second ad break, boys. It's top of the hour, every hour. It's time for a 60-second ad break. If you don't want to watch the ads, if you don't want to see the ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5, or you can do it for free with a Twitch Prime. Here's the 60-second ad break now. Is Trump still the future of the GOP? There's something left.
This is Vice News tonight.
It's 42 minutes long, man. I can't do that. That's way too long. Terrorists target civilians like Hamas. Israel do not. Hamas and Palestine equals targeting civilians. Israel equals warning civilian population of opposing. Hamas did warn Israel before bombing Israel. So I guess you're wrong on that end too. Like the first round of rocket fire coming from Hamas came before they said, pull your troops out of Al-Aqsa and allow the Muslim mosque goers freedom of travel. So technically you're wrong. I mean, you're literally wrong. Then Hamas is the same as IDF with respect to that. But this is not about equality. You don't care. You don't want to have a fucking conversation on equal terms. So why do you even come in here and act like you do? It's so strange to me. Like either you just don't have the full information, or you just don't care. You probably don't care. But even if your argument is like what is the narrative here? Is it okay because Israel warns ahead of time that they're going to bomb your house? Would you be fine with that if they bombed your house?
Donate $1,000.
Like if a superior military power that has rendered your freedom of travel, that is completely shut off your opportunities to travel anywhere else, that has locked you into this like open air prison, says, I'm going to bomb your house, but I'm letting you know, would you be like, thank you, please, sir, I want some more? Are you that much of a fucking cuck? I don't understand. And if pre-warnings are good enough, then why didn't Israel listen to the demands that Hamas made ahead of time? Why didn't they? Oh yeah, I want to do the UFO fucking piece in a second. I've been holding off on this. That's big from you opening up your opinion about the Palestine-Israel conflict. Not many people dare to talk about it in front of an audience this big. No, motherfucker, I've been talking about it for years, too.
Middle East, Israel and Hamas exchanged new attacks this morning. The White House is pushing for an end to more than a week of...
So, like, was it okay when Israel bombed not one but two refugee camps? Israel bombed another refugee camp last night. Is Hamas there? Like, how are you gonna fucking act like that's a reasonable thing to do? Like, they're bombing refugee camps, dude. They're bombing hospitals. They murdered fucking little kids who had PTSD and were getting treatment for their fucking PTSD from previous bombing campaigns. It's nuts.
Looking good today,
defending Israel in any capacity, especially through this latest round when like most liberal, progressive except for Palestine Zionists are even shutting the fuck up, or at the very least trying to make weak attempts to all lives matter the situation by being like, well, anti-Semitism is on the rise, which is true, but that is completely separate from what the fuck's going on here. It's just like, it's wild. Like, you literally don't have to do that. I promise. You don't have to do it.
Deadly fighting. President Biden told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday he expects a significant de-escalation. Imtiaz Tayeb is in southern Israel, just north of Gaza. Imtiaz, good morning.
Vlad, everyone, good morning. Yeah, I'm only just a few miles away from the Gaza Strip. You can see the road here is blocked. Israeli security forces not letting us in because of Hamas rocket fire. All of this comes, of course, as the Israeli media breathlessly speculates that a ceasefire could start as early as tomorrow. But for now, the bombings continue.
I'll tell you what, as an Israeli, if you defend Palestinians, you're considered a traitor. Yeah, it's like fucking defending the lives of Iraqi and Afghan citizens really helps my mental health when America was like, nah, we're just going to fucking murder all of them. I understand. I know. I mean, I've been seen as like, when I used to come to America, especially closer to 9/11, like I know what it's like when you're just like automatically as a Muslim seen as a fucking enemy combatant. Like you're like infiltrating America from within. And there's plenty of Muslims in here that have also experienced that when they were fucking growing up. It doesn't happen in a fucking vacuum.
Israeli airstrikes have been lighting up Gaza's skyline for 11 days now, causing an inferno of destruction on the ground. The misery is unrelenting. Well, in the southern Israeli town of Beersheba, dozens of Israelis and our team had to run to this bomb shelter after several Hamas rockets were intercepted right above us. If a ceasefire is near, it doesn't feel like it. Since fighting began, more than 75,000 Palestinians have been displaced across Gaza, most seeking refuge at these UN schools. And it's kids who suffer the most. We talked to two 10-year-olds about what they're experiencing, one Israeli and one Palestinian. Nadine Abdeltaif has become the face of Gaza's children.
I'm only 10.
After going viral in this video posted online. CBS News met Nadine near her neighborhood, which is now in ruins.
I want to feel safe for like one day at least. I never feel safe in my own home.
What's it like in your house?
It's very scary.
Renana Botzer-Swizza lives in southern Israel, just a few miles away from Gaza. She gets scared every time Hamas rockets are fired near her home. She says she knows what she experiences is nothing compared to what Nadine does. And when we asked her what she'd say to her if they were to ever meet,
I wasn't saying nothing. I just hug her and tell her that I know what you feel.
Now, according to the United Nations children's charity UNICEF, 1 million Palestinian children, 1 million, face, quote, disaster if a ceasefire isn't called soon. Gail.
We're all hoping for that. Thank you very much. Imtiaz Tayeb reporting from southern Israel.
For the past week, a 10-year-old girl living in Gaza has documented her experience on social media. Here's CNN's Awa Damon with her story.
His name is Jude. His name is Nana or Nadira.
It's the juxtaposition that is perhaps the most jarring. Between the clips Nadine, an aspiring social media influencer, used to post about her life, often featuring her younger brother Jude.
If I hear my sister?
And the clip that was posted of her that went viral.
You want all of this? What do you expect me to do? Fix it? I'm only 10. I can't even do anything anymore. I just want to be a doctor or anything.
Can we watch more Sky News? That shit was hilarious yesterday. I'll die. Like, I don't want to fucking engage in an act of self-harm by watching more fucking Australian donkeys talk about Palestine in such violent fucking ways, dude. It is literally, I'm still thinking about it. That had like a secondary shockwave effect that when I think about fucking Sky News, I'm like, oh my god. It was so vile, dude. It was one of the most disgusting things I've watched. Like, this dude was just spewing filth, just bile.
Thank you for doing
Oh my
what you have said
fucking
6
god,
months.
dude. What a fucking piece of shit that guy is. Whatever the fuck his name is. Oh god, he is such a donkey, dude. Holy shit.
4 months hassle.
What is? I made a meme about the Sky News reporter.
Free Palestine.
It's pretty good. It's true. It's true, dude. Australians shudder. They cower in fear at the might of the average Turkish reporter. Okay? When the conservative Australian Sky News reporter hears the might of the average Turkish reporter reporting on the fucking news, he looks for a place to hide. He looks for a place to run, cower in fear, and hide.
Good takes Hassan.
To help my people, my cat. I'm just a kid.
She is just a kid. But at the same time, she's not anymore.
Are you having fun?
Bro, this is so insane, dude. They're like, hey, let's get some fucking coverage of these kids in Gaza. Oh, never mind. There's fucking warplanes flying over. They're going to bomb another area.
Because it was funny. I was laughing because I was trying to keep my brother calm down. I guess I love you. Me too.
We're back again here, and this is all the stuff we got for the school.
This is what they should have been getting ready for. Instead,
this is my bag in case anything happens, or our house gets exploded. I don't really care about any of those things are in the bag. As I said, I care about family. I care about other people, and that's it.
There's no shot that any Israeli that watches this, I'm sorry, I mean, with the exception of, like, obviously fucking anti-Zionists and leftists and stuff, but, like, there is very little chance that ultra-Zionists that see this aren't going to be like, oh, she has a TikTok, she's a paid actor, or use the term Pallywood. By the way, that's like, I've been browsing more like ultra Zionist places and spaces on the internet, like neoliberal subreddits, for example, that have turned into ultra Zionist shitholes, and they will use the term Pallyhood or Pallywood, sorry, like Palestinian Hollywood, to talk about these sorts of things. Where they're just like, oh, they're just fucking lying. Like, this is all just, like, this person is a liar. It's like, I don't know how you can lie about just fucking your house being blown up, but...
When the explosion happens, we all hang out in this room. It's better to die, all of us together.
This is a consistent thing that you hear from Palestinians, where parents in the Gaza Strip will say, like, we all sleep in the same room so that if a bomb, like if rocket fire blows up our apartment, we all die together, because it's significantly worse if you end up surviving. Just remember that. That's the life that they live. Like, that is literally just their life. I'm surprised you rarely ever get this viewpoint. I'm surprised that, like, CNN and these other news outlets are actually showing this side. They trade kids so entire families of children aren't wiped out, and hopefully they're single survivors. If we said the aid to Israel is contingent on rebuilding this area, we'd be anti-Semitic. 100%. I mean, the Trump administration took away all aid from Palestine, boys. All aid. Like, all aid to the Gaza Strip was removed under the Trump administration. It got so bad. Meanwhile, you commented the other day on that hot IDF's personal TikTok was propaganda. Yeah, you can't be biased. Like, wait. Are you actually so blind that you think a 10-year-old girl's TikTok is Palestinian propaganda, but like actual IDF propaganda celebrating how vegan they are? Like, that's propaganda. When an organized unit, an organized coalition gets together and has marketing agents and PR agents that come together and like write out scripts and put out advertisements showing how humane they are, that's actual marketing. That's actual propaganda. A 10-year-old's TikTok account showcasing the atrocities that they have endured at the hands of the brutal occupiers in Israel. That's just reality. The IDF soldier was wearing her uniform and ballistic vest. Like, no, he meant that girl on TikTok. Yeah, that is propaganda, dude. It is 100%, 1000% propaganda. The IDF engages in that sort of propaganda all the time. Hot IDF girls, like, look at how sexy our fucking military is. Or look at how fucking vegan our military is. Or look at how fucking, what is the other one? They do, like, look at how LGBT our military is. They do it all the goddamn time. Dude, I'm an IDF member. Well, they are vegan. Dude, I'm an IDF member. Dog, you know what that means? That you care about fucking animals more than you care about Palestinians, right? Just kidding. Oh, real funny, dude. Yeah, you should fucking leave, dude. You should literally leave the IDF if you're a part of it.
This is where is the explosion at. See right there? There's an ambulance. And I think that's a house. 5 أشهر هو الناجي الوحيد من الدار.
Of course, Nadine gets scared, her mother says. She covers her fear for her brother.
More potatoes for me. What's that, Missile? This is like breakfast, dinner.
Nadine's mother watches her family as if she's quietly relishing in the laughter of the younger generations.
Can't believe
For
it's already
laughter
been
is
7
more
months.
precious in times like this, when you know, even if you are just a kid, that it can end at any moment. Arwa Damon, CNN.
There are members of the Obama administration who fully acknowledge that this happened. Tommy Vietor, he tweeted out, yeah.
Oh my fucking God. Oh, what? That just snuck up on me, dude. I don't know if I can handle this. I'm gonna keep it real. I don't know if I can handle Ben Shabibo fucking defending bombing the Associated Press building. It's gonna kill me. I will fucking die. I will literally die. It's... Oh God, it's fucking, it's so gross. He's so gross, dude. He's so fucking gross. All right, let's watch.
Yeah, probably Hamas was in the building, but still you shouldn't hit the building.
Joe Biden did make an official statement. Hamas defend good, Israel bad, war, building, you know, come on, man. I'm Bo Jiden and I approve this message. That's so funny, dude.
3 months, Pog.
Idiot.
Real. At a certain point, it is not about being pro-Palestinian. It is about just being anti the Jewish state. The media.
What? Fucking such a bloodthirsty, delusional freak, dude. Literal just psychopath, okay? Absolute psychopathic. Once again, I ask, what should defenders of the state of Israel in America do? Because most of them defend across the board. Unconditional, uncritical support to Israel. Joe Biden gave $735 million worth of weapons to Israel 2 days, or not even 24, not even 48 hours after the Associated Press building was bombed. What more? What more could they do, Ben? Joe Biden has personally been responsible for the death, evisceration, and murder of more Palestinians than you, motherfucker. He has a higher body count, bitch. Get your fucking numbers up, you fucking pathetic pussy, okay? Joe Biden is literally murdered and is personally responsible for the murder of more Palestinian babies than you. And you're out here fucking still shitting on him? That's crazy to me. That actually blows my mind that Ben is out here with this take, saying like the Democrats are not doing enough. The media is not doing enough. What do you want them to do?
Yeah, continue to be garbage at their jobs. Right before the Jewish holiday of Shavuot, which is why I was off for the past couple of days, Israel knocked out this building in Gaza, which was being used by Hamas. Just clearly being used by Hamas. Okay, and the Associated...
Clearly, Israel has given no evidence and has lied about the evidence that they have given to the American authorities. Anthony Blinken literally said Israel's given us no evidence, and then they lied about giving us evidence about how there was Hamas in this building. Regardless, whether or not Hamas intelligence assets are within that building, which was occupied by media companies for 15 years. 15 years, I guess they were side by side with Hamas, and they just had no fucking clue. Okay? I'm going to take the words of Tommy Vitor, who has nothing to do with this situation whatsoever, who made such a fucking erroneous, idiotic misstep that he immediately deleted the tweet. But that deleted tweet is more significant for Ben Shabibo than any amount of coverage that can come from the rest of the media. Why? Because it was a moment where Tommy Vitor seemingly agreed with his psychopathic, bloodthirsty agenda. God damn it, dude. Holy shit.
The Press had offices there. Now, the reason that Hamas locates in buildings with the Associated Press there is specifically because they wish to use the Associated Press as a shield. This is why. Because then Israel hits an empty building. Okay, there was no one in there.
It doesn't change anything. If someone was like, hey, Ben, we are going to bomb your fucking house in Nashville, Tennessee, but we're going to warn you ahead of time, Ben would not be fucking, Ben would not accept that. Like, and understandably, he would not accept that because that would be psychotic. Like, that's insane, dude. No one accepts this. No normal human being would be like, oh, thank God they're warning me. The only thing that you're saying in that situation is that, like, they could just do genocide without warning them.
The empty building, and then the Associated Press starts whining to the world about how terrible it is that Israel would knock down a building. How awful that Israel would do this sort of thing, except that Israel had apparently showed smoke.
This motherfucker literally lost his mind about BLM protests because some of those BLM protests ended up turning into or escalated in large part due to the police retaliation into more violent struggles that broke storefronts, okay? Like a Starbucks window breaks in any area that has like more than 13% black people, and Ben will literally be on it, covering it round the clock. Like, look at how violent these blacks are. All BLM protests are about violence and you know, taking down businesses. But Israel just, you know, blows up a building. It's not a big deal, dude. It's just a fucking not a big deal. Like, what? It's just a building, dog. Like, I don't understand. Like, why are you making a big deal out of it? Because he's a fucking donkey. Okay?
Smoking gun material, classified material, to the U.S. government, explaining that Hamas was in the building. Okay, which is not a shock because Hamas and the Associated Press have a covert deal. That deal is...
In 2019, Hasanabi says to Slicker and Raj Royale that he has to stop talking about the problem between Gaza and Israel. 2 years later, Hasanabi have talking about the problem in many streams, LMAO. Yeah, I think you're greatly mistaking the way that he was talking about it. And me covering for him in that respect was the smart thing to do for him. Okay? In 2019, I was still covering Israel and Palestine, you fucking idiot. In 2017, I was. In 2018, I was. In 2016, I was as well.
That Associated Press gets to stay in Hamasistan so long
Hold on, I just like, wait.
Okay, which is not a shock because Hamas and the Associated Press have a covert deal. That deal is that Associated Press gets to stay in Hamasistan.
What? Dude. This is no different than just like conspiracy, like QAnon conspiracy theories. Like
6 months with the him.
he's just like fucking making this shit up. Like he's just saying that like, you know, big Hamas and big Associated Press are just like working with one another. Zero evidence, Andy, by the way.
So long as it prints Hamas propaganda and does not print stuff that it knows about how Hamas uses civilians as human shields. David Harsanyi has a good piece over.
What the fuck? Dude, this is psychopathic, dude. Would you approve of Israel if you saw evidence? Fuck no. I don't give a fuck if literal Hamas military members are in that building. I don't give a fuck, dude. Are you fucking stupid? No. I don't even give a fuck if Hamas were like, we are in this building specifically because there's media here. No. You absolutely cannot blow up a fucking media building, dude. So you are saying you are biased? Yes, motherfucker. I am biased towards humanity. I am biased towards all fucking human beings and their well-being. I am biased in the sense that I believe that subjecting 2 million plus civilians into living a horrifying existence, okay, in the world's largest open-air prison that you routinely bomb, that you control the water supply of, where 97% of the people living there do not have access to clean water, and you control their electricity, and then you keep bombing their fucking infrastructure over and over again, that's bad. And if you aren't biased in that respect, if you aren't biased towards the humanity of Palestinians, you are a fucking monster, okay? So I am not fearful of saying that I am biased towards humanity in this situation. I am biased towards a humane existence, offering a egalitarian, or not even egalitarian, offering a humane existence for Palestinians living in Gaza, Palestinians living all around the world, and Palestinians living in the occupied West Bank. So if you don't have those biases, you are a fucking piece of shit. You are no different than a Nazi, okay? Seriously. I'm sorry that I am doing propaganda that revolves around acknowledging the humanity of Palestinians. I apologize.
For a national review about this. According to AP CEO Gary Pruitt, he said his organization had no indication Hamas was in the building or active in the building. He said, this is something we actively check to the best of our ability. We would never knowingly put our journalists at risk.
Here, this is a great way to undermine the argument from the Associated Press by just reading it in a baby voice.
This is nonsense, says Harsanyi. Pruitt knowingly puts journalists at risk every day he sends them to places like Gaza. But how did Pruitt actively check? Did he ask Hamas? Did he call the landlord?
What the fuck?
Or did you ring the bells?
Did you call the CEO of Hamas, bro? No, exactly. So every Palestinian technically is Hamas, and therefore there was Hamas there. I know. From Nashville, Tennessee, hypothetically, I know better than the fucking Associated Press that was in the building.
It is, of course, highly probable that Hamas was using journalists as human shields, because this is what it does. During the last major outbreak of violence in 2014, Gaza's Shifa hospital became a de facto headquarters for Hamas leaders, who could be seen in the hallways and offices, according to the Washington Post. The AP did not report that. Why? Because they were...
Yo, dude, what? Yeah, Hamas is literally in here right now. Hamas is in my house. IDF should blow it up. Like, you know, give me forewarning ahead of time. But like, you know, they can do it. They can do it. Who knows? No one has to. You literally don't need any fucking proof. Ben will believe it regardless.
They were working hand in glove with Hamas. In 2014, former AP reporter Maddie Friedman recounted, quote, the AP staff in Gaza City would witness a rocket launch right beside their office, endangering reporters and other civilians nearby, and AP would not report it. Not even in AP articles about Israeli claims that Hamas was launching rockets from residential areas.
Dude, what the fuck? Dude, I can't do this. I can't do this. It's just so insane. He's literally making shit up. He's making shit up. The Associated Press as still, as a part of the Western media apparatus, consistently sided with Israel using passive voice all the fucking time when talking about Palestinian casualties as though they perished on their own, and then talking about Israeli civilians being murdered, being killed, okay? Like, these guys have no interest in adequately offering coverage to the plight of Palestinians living in Gaza. And they don't. For the most part, they don't. Saying that the Western media absolutely fucking takes Hamas propaganda hook, line, and sinker and does propaganda for them is psychotic. The most that they'll do in certain instances where there is incredible violence that is unavoidable, that like every normal human being that is not blinded by propaganda of this sort will see, they end up covering it not even adequately in that situation, but they'll report the casualties. Like, you know what I mean? And these motherfuckers still get mad. Like, Ben literally gets mad when like, I guess he wants the Associated Press to be like, I guess he wants them to lie and just be like, yeah, they blew up our building, and it was actually good that they blew up our building because, you know, there wasn't any evidence that the Hamas soldiers were in there, but let's just say that there was. I mean, what if there was? There could have been.
Areas. This happened. Hamas fighters would burst into the AP's Gaza bureau and threaten the staff, and AP would not report it. This also happened. Cameramen waiting outside Shifa Hospital in Gaza would film the arrival of civilian casualties and then, at a signal from an official, turn off their cameras when wounded and dead fighters came in, helping Hamas maintain the illusion that only civilians were dying. This too happened. The information comes from multiple sources with firsthand knowledge of these incidents. Now, what's incredible about this is that there are members of the Obama administration.
Source, trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. Okay? I know it happened, hypothetically. Sources, trust me, bro. Just trust me. Just come on, dude. First-hand sources,
fully acknowledge that this happened. Okay.
Where's he getting this information from if no one is reporting it? Probably, like, Reddit threads. It's just someone who's like, I'm IDF, bro. Believe, bro. Believe. I'm IDF, bro. I see this firsthand, bro. Come on. Come on, bro. Just report, bro. Fucking 4chan. First-hand sources.
There are members of
anonymous account on 4chan that claims to be a fucking IDF person. It's QAnon, dude. This is literally QAnon shit.
Administration who fully acknowledged this was probably being used as a Hamas headquarters. Okay, Tommy Vietor, who worked for Barack Obama. He didn't just drive his van. He was one of his advisors. He tweeted out, yeah, probably Hamas was in the building, but still you shouldn't hit the building. Unreal.
By the way, even if Hamas is in the building, and I'm saying it with my chest one more time, yes, you literally should not attack a building that is a media building just because Hamas is slated to be within the building. Sorry, it's still a fucking war crime, okay? I mean, here, let me flip the script here. IDF is all over Israel. They're all over Israel. A lot of Israeli citizens, as a consequence of like being forced into military service, are either currently in the national reserves or a part of the IDF or were a part of the IDF. Okay? Having said that, if Hamas somehow infiltrated the Israeli boundaries and blew up, and they don't even have the fucking capability of doing this, but in a hypothetical scenario, if some motherfuckers in Hamas blew up the entire media building, and then claimed like, sorry, there's Israelis, there's IDF in there, how do you think Israel would react? I mean, Hamas lobs bullshit bathtub rockets that are basically like fireworks on fucking steroids into Israeli territory. Those rockets get intercepted by the Iron Dome, and then they fucking respond by murdering 65 babies, okay? 65 children in a span of 11 days. 65 children alone. 230 plus Palestinians have died so far. How do you think they would retaliate? Absolutely zero people would consider this to be just or honest or reasonable.
Because at a certain point, it is not about being pro-Palestinian, because if you're pro-Palestinian, you should not be pro-Hamas. It is about just being anti the Jewish state. And you can sense why, okay? Because there's a broader left-wing agenda out there. Unfortunately, it's what people have termed accurately the Red-Green Alliance, and basically green being Hamas, red being communists. There's this long-time feeling on the left that Israel is a colonial state, that Israel is an outpost of Western civilization. And so many of the people who are angry at Western civilization are angry at Israel. They're not angry at Israel and therefore they're angry at America. They're angry at America, and therefore they're angry at Israel. Or they're angry at Europe, and therefore they're angry at Israel. So Europe, because Europe has always had issues with Jews, has attempted to separate off, except for a couple of countries right now, like Hungary and Austria. Okay, but the reality is that the left, all over the Western world.
Yeah. Based Viktor Orban supporting Jew. Very cool. Yeah.
Has decided that Israel is the bad guy. Why? Because Israel is part of this broader rubric of hierarchical values. The way the left views the world is that if you are successful in a civilized system, it is because you have victimized someone. This is the view in the United States. In the United States, from the left, the view is that if you are successful in the United States, it's because you have white privilege, or because the system was built to accommodate you, or because you have internalized your own whiteness. And the same thing happens internationally. If there is a group that is successful, and you can castigate them as white. Jews suddenly became white for this purpose. And you can castigate them as white versus the quote-unquote brown Palestinians, which is the way that Rashida Tlaib talks about this. Then that is just another indicator of hierarchical systems that have to be torn down, which is why you've heard.
Yeah, like Ben, for example, is not a white person. I mean, you can tell. Ben is a brown person. Motherfucker, I'm white. Okay? I'm Muslim. My name is Hassan. I grew up in Turkey. And I'm white. I say I'm white all the time. What happened? Like, Ben was talking about white culture and Western civilization and how fucking dope it is. And all of a sudden, when it comes to, like, defending Israel's war crimes, he's like, it's kind of fucked up. Unacceptable. Like, literally, there is white supremacy baked into the Zionist project separately from everything else, where the treatment of Ethiopian Jews and African migrants within the boundaries of Israel is literally disgusting. Okay? Straight up, like shit that American racists and white supremacists would look to and go, God damn, that's good. That's good stuff. Okay, it's wild that like white supremacy does not factor into it. Even though I have talked about a million times on the show that you know that Israelis are not Israelis, Jews are not a monolith. That they come from many different ethnic backgrounds: Sephardic, Mizrahi, Ashkenazi. There's so many different types of Jewish people from all around the fucking world. So obviously there's like hella brown Jews as well. But the actions of Israel as a settler occupying colonialist state is real fucking white, dude. Sorry. Israel, you're acting kind of white right now, dude. Just saying. And that's the kindest way to approach this matter from an honest framework, okay?
I've heard Rashida Tlaib explicitly say that. She'll say Black Lives Matter is the same thing as the Palestinians. They are not the same thing. For a variety of reasons, they are not the same thing. And for one, Black Lives Matter as a movement, last I checked, was not supposed to be firing rockets into American cities. I was told the Black Lives Matter movement was distinct from the rioters and looters. If she wants to make a different claim, that's on Rashida Tlaib.
What?
But it is not a surprise to see Black Lives Matter supporting Hamas. They came out and tweeted yesterday, Black Lives Matter stands in solidarity with Palestinians. We are a movement committed to ending settler colonialism in all forms and will continue to advocate for Palestinian liberation. Always have and always will be.
Like, how is this a racist take? Like, I just... Bro, if you consider this to be bad, you're a bad person. Like, I don't know how else to describe this to you. If you consider Palestinian liberation to be a negative thing, like, you're fucking a bad person. Like, I don't know how else to say it, dude.
Hashtag Free Palestine. By Free Palestine, they don't mean a separate state of Palestine living alongside in peace and harmony a Jewish state. They mean wiping out the state of Israel. This has been...
Like, that's a fucking psychopathic, dude. You are just a bad person, Ben. You are a bad person. And I really hope one day you recognize how horrible of a monster you are. It's never going to fucking happen, but goddamn, I have nothing else, dude. I have nothing else to say. You're just like, it's a self-report every fucking time. Every fucking time that you make a claim that the acknowledgement of Palestinians as human beings is a bad thing, you are reporting on yourself. You are basically saying, I'm a bad human being, okay? I'm not a good person. I'm a bad person. And I think that it's anti-Semitic to say that Palestinians are humans. That's what all Zionists think. From the river to the sea is seen as saying, meaning to cleanse all Jews in Israel from end to end. Yeah. Except Palestine was free and Jews lived there as well, for the record.
Been in the BLM manifesto for quite a while. Okay, Faith for Black Lives is a group that put out a letter to the Biden administration trying to urge Biden not to sell weapons to Israel to defend itself. Okay, and unfortunately, this has infused a huge percentage of the Democratic Party. This whole perspective has infused a large percentage of the Democratic Party. How's this?
It's terrible, dude. Ben's argument is like saying African Americans not wanting to be slaves is not about freedom, it's about genocide against the white race. It's literally that. It is that. It's exactly like that.
ايش رسالتي؟ بدناش تعملوا لنا مسيرات بدون ما تفيدونا، بدنا حل احنا، بدنا اسعار، بدنا هدنه، تعبنا دمنا الحرق. صعودنا لجوا ما بنوصفش، اي كلمات بتوفيش، تعبنا، ايش نعمل اكثر من هيك؟ اسمعونا في مكان واحد نزلوا علينا صواريخ كلنا نستشهد مره واحده، اما هذا اللي بتعملوا لنا اياه حرام عليكم. الحرب النفسيه اللي فينا لو العمر كله بدنا نتعالج ما بنتعالج. تعبنا. ايش احكي لك؟ أنا بحكي الله اللي مصبرني، الله اللي رابط على قلبي. إيش أحكي لك؟ إيش أحكي لك؟ أنا ابن سودة وزرحة، إيش أحكي لك؟ إيش أحكي لك؟ إيش أحكي لك؟ يا أنا مش عارفك إيش.
Well, actually, it is a fact that Jews existed before the Associated Press, therefore they have a right to blow them up. Facts don't care about your feelings. I mean, dude, yeah, there's nothing that these people have nothing. I've said this before. Like, they just have nothing. They have nothing.
You wrote an op-ed in the New York Times.
And there is nothing that they can do. They feel helpless. They feel hopeless. We're going to watch the UFO video after this.
Times talking about de-escalating violence between Israel and Gaza. This is a terrible situation. I know that President Biden reached out to Benjamin Netanyahu and urged him to de-escalate. Do you feel like that message is getting through, and do you feel like President Biden is doing enough?
I think we need an immediate ceasefire, Seth. The situation there is absolutely terrible. Just talked to somebody in Gaza yesterday. And it's not only the loss of lives, several hundred Palestinians have been killed, 12 Israelis have been killed. But in Gaza, you are talking about a situation now where people don't have electricity, they don't have fuel, they don't have clean water. Their wastewater plants have been destroyed and fetid excrement is coming out into the streets. You have a horrible situation, and that's built on the terrible situation that existed before the conflict, where youth unemployment was 70%. So you got a total disaster there. And I think that what the function of where we should be, especially when we're giving $4 billion a year to Israel, is we should be bringing people together, not just being one-sided and say everything that Israel does is good, because it is not. Over the years, Netanyahu and his government have become much more right-wing. You have overt racists who are now part of Netanyahu's coalition. And what the United States has got to say is, look, it's a difficult situation. It's been going on for decades, no magical answer. But you guys are going to have to come together and develop a long-term plan that provides dignity for the Palestinian people, safety for the Israeli people. We've got to be pro-Israel. We've got to be pro-Palestinian. But I think just being one-sided is wrong, and it is not productive in terms of bringing peace to the region.
You know, one of the things you write about, and I think on a human level, we can...
What do I support? Like, Bernie is definitely a two-stater, and I disagree with him on that. But he's unfortunately one of the most woke people that you can have on this issue. Like, I think the two-state solution is bullshit. I used to be a two-state solution.